Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Our regular guest, Chris Mannix, with us. We talked hoops. You also covered some boxing.
Yeah.
Give us your thoughts on that fight.
The Cotto fight?
Cotto
Rodriguez.
It was, Cotto was supposed to win, but you saw Cotto lose to Mayweather, and you saw him lose to Austin Trout later on. You had to wonder, when you see guys... Yeah, because you see guys that are in the wars that Cotto's been in, and we were just talking about Gotti and Mickey Ward. Gotti's career ended probably too early because he was in so many knockdown, drag-out brawls.
Right.
And Ward, and you had to think that Cotto was kind of reaching that point because whether it's Pacquiao, Margarito, even Paulie Malignaggi, Zab Judah, Shane Mosley, he was in some brawls. But he came back and just destroyed Delvin Rodriguez, and now he's going to get a big shot. And they're talking about Sergio Martinez at MetLife Stadium in June, which could be a huge fight, or Canelo Alvarez probably in Vegas, whichever promoter puts up the most money, he's going to take it, and he's in a real advantageous position right now.
It's funny that now that he's no longer with us. I was a big Gotti fan. Gotti fan.
I was saying to you off the air there that you got to see the HBO
I can't wait.
Gotti Ward Legendary Nights. It's all about the 3 fights, and it's all about the relationship between Gotti and Ward. And, I knew about this stuff, but it even teared me up a little bit towards the end, because it's so emotional. It shows some footage from when Mickey Ward accepted Gotti's on Gotti's behalf his induction to the Hall of Fame.
Right,
was there for him, and it was really powerful stuff. His little daughter's in it. I mean, it's incredible.
I saw Gotti. I got ringside seats at the Garden for a De La Hoya fight. I forgot how Oscar De La Hoya fought, but it was African American guy who beat him in 8 rounds. I forget the guy's name, but Gotti was the undercard.
Yeah.
And I got to see him fight live from the little ringside seats. He took the guy out in 2 rounds, some tomato can. But, oh, my God, could he hit.
He was powerful.
Like, really crazy. But, again, this is a typical Artie Lange story, but Gotti's no longer with us, so I could share this. I met him twice, okay? I was at a strip club. I'm not going to say what strip club it was at. Mm-hmm. Private room, champagne room, whatever. Then I was a single man at the time. That's a key part to this story.
Especially today.
This is probably 6 years ago. I just broken up with my girlfriend, Dana, at the time, was with the Stern Show. And I was, going to a lot of strip clubs and stuff. So this is the kind of strip club where if you got the girl in the back room, something might happen. So the stripper begins to give me oral sex. And right in the middle of it, the door opens. Someone comes in and, interrupts us. And I'm like, whoa, we're in here. And he goes, my bad, and leaves. And it was Arturo Gotti. Now, I'm a big boxing fan, so I was sort of like, starstruck. Was that Arturo Gotti? I make her stop. And I go, was that Arturo Gotti? And she goes, I don't know. And she's almost like, she had to look at me like, look, you're gross enough. Can I get done with this? I'm asking her if she knows what boxer. I'm like, do you know Arturo? I think no. Then she went back and never was quite the same between us.
He had, I'll tell you one.
But anyway, well, let me go.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
The second time, so talk about a guy in class acts. 4 years later, literally 4 years later, I'm at the same strip club. I'm at the bar. Arturo Gotti walks in. Comes up to me, and I'm not going to say anything to him because I figure he doesn't remember. He puts his arm around me and goes, by the way, my bad, man. 4 years later, he apologized again. And I said to him, you did kind of ruin it. He goes, my bad. I met him twice. That's the 2 times I met Arturo.
He was one of the most lovable guys.
Rest in peace, my friend. He was.
He had, when I was writing a story I wrote on Bob Arum, the promoter, there was one story about how Arum created this fictional hatred between Gotti and Floyd Mayweather before the Gotti-Mayweather fight back in, it was 06. They had separate press conferences for it. They had separate weigh-ins because these two supposedly hated each other worse than anything in the world. So I was picking around the Arum story, and I was asking, how did some people that were the main events that represented Gotti, I was asking, how did this come about? What did Arum do to create this? Like, Arum didn't really create it. I mean, he did, but the reason that they had separate press conferences from the start, because the press conference started, and we got a phone call from Arturo saying he was holed up in a hotel room with a girl.
No.
And he couldn't make the press conference.
That's throwback stuff, right? I mean, guys, Babe Ruth for crying.
So instead of saying, Arturo's drunk and he can't make it, they said, he hates him so much he can't be around him.
Right, exactly. Well, that's good. Yeah. What about Arum? It's funny, not to veer off a little bit. What did you find out about that? What's your final analysis on him? Is he evil, nice, good?
He's not evil. He's opportunistic. He's capitalistic. None of his fighters have ever sued him. You know,
Right.
that's one thing.
That does say a lot.
He'll try. Don King's fighters sue him all the time.
Right.
Other
then
promoters' fighters sue him all the time. One thing about Arum is that HBO sued him like a dozen times. You know,
Right.
networks he'll fight tooth and nail
For
with.
what? What exactly does that
He tries to take every nickel from them, and it's always over money. It's always some sort of money issue, and he tries to take it all from them because he tries to control every stream of revenue with the fights he puts on. But fighters, he's always been loyal to.
Right.
There are very few examples of fighters being displeased
That's smart.
with how they're treated
But
there.
that's smart as a promoter. I mean, that's
Of course
the,
it is.
You know, with nobody else regulating it, that you want to be friends with a fighter.
He had a great line that didn't make it into the story where he's talking about his wives. I think he's had 3 wives.
Right.
So he's talking about his second wife, and he's like, I married her. Yeah, she's Japanese. I married her because I read Shogun and decided I wanted to marry a Japanese broad.
Shogun.
And he goes, don't worry. I only cheated on her with other Japanese broads.
Of course. What a lovely man. Yeah. Well, he sounds like a guy I like to hang out with.
He promoted Evel Knievel. He promoted all his jumps.
Yeah, that I respect.
He was doing all that. And
look, the guys are, you know, you're right, opportunistic, a businessman, but those boxing promoters just, you know, I don't know, it just gives you a bad taste in your mouth. It's crazy.
I'll tell you, I spent 4 days with him reporting. This was like a 5,000-word story I wrote last December, right around the time of his 81st birthday. And I've never laughed so hard in my life at some of these stories. Some of them you can't verify. I couldn't repeat some of them because I couldn't write them because, you know, half people are dead. And, you know, according to Arum, basically he solved apartheid in South Africa with the fights.
And Arum's like, no one else is taking credit for it.
He's like, I went over there, and yeah, the only caveat he said was I was motivated by my checkbook a little bit. No kidding.
Right.
But he's like, you know, they love me. He's like, he was telling these stories about how, you know, after they integrated
They love me.
He's like, after they integrated you should do this sometime, Artie. You would never stop laughing.
It sounds great.
He's like, after they integrated the Ali somebody fight out there, I forget who it was when Ali fought over there. He's like, the South African people kept asking him to come to various sporting venues like racetracks and say, "You're integrated. You're integrated."
Boy, what a gig! He's a funny guy. No, that's why I said he's an interesting guy. All right, we're gonna take another break. Back after this. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show, and let me say this: thanks to French Quarters Guest Apartments for being our New York City hotel. Let them be your headquarters in New York City. Go to FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next day. FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next day. Where the French Quarters is so quaint. Walking through the lobby,
gorgeous.
you could see sitting in one of the
Absolute
tables,
luxury.
John Ritchie practicing his NBC Sports analysis. And
staring into a mirror.
Right.
They're the best.
He will not sign autographs. He will not sign
courteous.
autographs.
That's right.
Don't ask him.
Staff, the folks that are there are great.
Did you readily sign autographs as a player? Were you were nice kids and everything?
Yeah.
You never turned them down?
I don't think that. Not that I know of. I mean,
I wouldn't blame people turning down the grown men that run around looking
sometimes
for
when you would see the same guy
Yeah.
every day of every week waiting for you outside the facility, and you knew he was just turning around and selling it somewhere.
He's got like a series
you
of
would
pictures
say,
and
hey,
frames.
I've got somewhere to go. Yeah, he's got a whole stack.
Yeah, you
You'd
don't
say,
have to
"I've
be,
got
you don't have to
somewhere
be
go."
Columbo to figure out the nerdy guy who has 72 pictures, doesn't want his name on it, and has a blue Sharpie.
And they're hip checking little kids out of the way to get into the
Yeah.
position.
Right, right.
That's the kind of crap.
Well,
There were a
least
lot of guys who, you know, you'd get mail. Everyone had a mailbox, and a lot of guys would get big bins of mail, and they would just take the bin and dump it in the trash. I would stay late and open all of them and sign all the cards that were in them and send them back. And guys would say, "Richie, what are you doing? Why are you wasting all your time doing that?" And I was like, I don't know. I mean, they took the time.
You know, I don't know. I was
send it
going
out.
a can of worms when you're a big hero now.
I know. I feel.
No, but at least here's the thing. You talk about the older guys, too. At least you're a professional athlete where you can see that it's important to somebody. You're a Raider. That might mean thing. To me, how about when a 40-year-old guy asks for my autograph? I sometimes, what are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
It's not going to be worth a dime.
On a napkin, too.
Yeah,
It's like,
he's drunk. It's like, what are you doing with my autograph? Like, you were a Raider. You can see where it's like, I mean, what are you doing with like,
Well, it made me a little bit jaded with the whole concept of why do people want the autograph.
It's odd.
And kids now, I mean, in our culture today, people think that autographs are so special.
Right.
And kids are asking everyone for autographs. I have kids, they come home and they want to ask the ice cream man to sign something. And so, society has really veered off. I don't understand what all the attention.
Talk about jaded cynical. Norm Macdonald has a story. His son, was 7 years old at the time, taken to a Laker game. And when they're leaving the game and they see Magic Johnson walking out by the cars, and his son is a huge basketball fan. He's starstruck. So Norm says, hey, go try to get his autograph. Run after him. He had a piece of paper or whatever, something to sign, and a Sharpie. And Magic Johnson, he catches up to Magic Johnson. And he says, Mr. Johnson, can you sign this? And the cap on the Sharpie was on. It wasn't off. And without missing a beat, to a 7-year-old kid, Magic Johnson keeps walking and goes, cap off. That's all he says, cap off. Because I don't want to take the cap off. And the poor kid couldn't do it, stumbled, and
lost his chance.
Didn't get the other. But Magic, talk about jaded, just with nothing in his heart, said, cap off.
Wow.
You know. And I've done it. Look, as a guy who signs autographs, it is a pain in the ass taking that cap off.
Boschetti has the same problem.
It's true. It's true. Sometimes if you're doing something else, you're in a hurry or something, and the cap is on.
Right.
It can be irksome
Right.
a little bit, but you still need to sign it, Magic.
I
want to know. You're meeting up with Allen Iverson.
Hopefully, I'm trying
Got
to make that work.
Quick minute.
When is that up?
Well, they're doing. Iverson's trying to. He's having like an official retirement ceremony in Philadelphia, I guess, October 30th at their opener, and I'm going to try to attach myself to him for a day.
Again, you know what? That could be the greatest interview ever, man.
Allen's always been honest.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
Allen has never, even at the very end of his career, he was very, very open about everything.
Right.
And I mean, there's a lot. Obviously,
I always liked him, man. I like controversial
kind
guys.
of a career wasted though at the end.
Of course, my God.
Could have been Vinnie Johnson.
Sad. Yeah. What do we got? They got the band coming up, and Gino. So you're gonna take off, Chris? Thanks for coming in, buddy.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it,
Anytime.
as always. And we'll be back with some more great music.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.